From above, Earth's surface looks like a patchwork of land, water, ice, soil, plants, and cities. All of these places depend on Earth's systems. Scientists study many environments to understand these connections. Mountains, grasslands, cities, coral reefs, forests, and deserts all host similar system-wide processes. In this video, you will explore how Earth's cycles connect across the geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. To help make these connections clear, we're going to focus on one example environment, a wetland ecosystem. Why wetlands? Because in wetlands, the interactions among Earth's spheres are especially easy to observe. Water flows through soil. Air affects temperature and rainfall. Plants and animals cycle nutrients. And sediment builds or breaks down land. When one part of the system changes, the effects spread through the others. Scientists study wetlands to observe these cause and effect relationships and to understand how to restore balance when nature is disrupted. That's what you'll do too. You'll take what you learn here and apply it to a real scenario involving wetlands later in the lesson. So let's get started and build the knowledge you'll need for our case study. Wetlands are the in-between zones of our planet. They are not completely dry land and not fully underwater. They include marshes, swamps, and bogs, and they exist on every continent except Antarctica. In a wetland, all four of Earth's spheres come together in visible and powerful ways. Try to name one thing you might observe in a wetland from each sphere. Record your thoughts in your guided notes. The geosphere forms the soil and sediment that hold plant roots and shape the land. The hydrosphere fills the area with water that rises and falls with the seasons. The atmosphere brings the air, sunlight, and rain that make life possible. And the biosphere of the wetland is filled with grasses, fish, birds, and even tiny microbes. The four spheres of Earth are constantly exchanging materials and energy. The balance among them keeps the system healthy and stable. When that balance is broken, the entire environment begins to change. There are also different types of wetlands. Some wetlands are found far from the ocean and are called inland wetlands. Others, called coastal wetlands, form where fresh water meets salt water along shorelines and river deltas. Each type plays a unique role in storing water, cycling nutrients, and supporting life. One thing that shapes how these wetlands function is the local climate. Temperature and rainfall affect how much water moves through a wetland, what kinds of plants can grow there, and how the spheres interact. Look at this graph showing average rainfall in two different wetlands. Which gets more precipitation? Wetland A. Now look at this graph of average temperatures. Which has higher temperature? Also wetland A. Overall, wetland A has warmer temperatures and higher rainfall. Wetland B has cooler temperatures and lower rainfall. Now, let's picture an organism like a mangrove tree, which grows best in salty, warm coastal waters and has roots that can survive flooding. In which wetland would mangroves most likely be found? Mangroves would grow in wetland A, the warm coastal wetland with plenty of rainfall. The constant warmth and flooding conditions make it the perfect environment for mangrove forests. By comparison, cattails thrive in cooler freshwater wetlands with steady water levels. These conditions match wetland B more closely. Wetlands provide food, shelter, and nesting areas for countless species, including migratory birds, fish, amphibians, and insects. But their impact isn't limited to the biosphere. They also play powerful roles in the geosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Wetlands constantly move, filter, and store energy and matter, helping keep Earth's systems in balance. In the hydrosphere, wetlands act like natural sponges. They absorb excess water during storms and release it slowly later, which helps prevent floods and keeps groundwater levels steady. In the geosphere, wetlands trap and build sediment. As water passes through wetland soil and plant roots, it slows down. Sediment, pollutants, and nutrients settle out or are absorbed, cleaning the water before it moves on and adding new material that helps build land. Wetlands store large amounts of carbon. Because wetland soil stays waterlogged, dead plants do not decay quickly. This keeps carbon trapped in the ground instead of releasing it as carbon dioxide. So wetlands do a lot because they serve so many roles. Wetlands are really, really important, but they are also delicate systems. If too much water is drained, the soil dries out. The carbon stored underground is released into the atmosphere, adding greenhouse gases that warm the planet. If too much fertilizer runs into rivers, extra nitrogen and phosphorus cause algae to grow too quickly. The algae block sunlight and use up oxygen, harming fish and aquatic life. Even human-built levees, which protect communities from flooding, can prevent wetlands from receiving the fresh sediment they need to stay above sea level. These are examples of cause and effect in Earth systems. One change, whether it starts in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, or geosphere, can lead to a chain of effects across all the others. Here are two satellite images of the same wetland taken almost 40 years apart. The darker areas show water, and the green areas show land. What patterns do you notice? How has the balance between land and water changed over time? Pause the video and record your thoughts in your guided notes. You may have noticed that the land area has decreased and the water has spread farther inland. This kind of land loss often means that the wetland is out of balance. When rivers bring less sediment to the coast or when sea levels rise, wetlands cannot rebuild their soil fast enough. Over time, more and more of the land disappears beneath the water, and that can be a big problem. When a wetland's balance shifts, the effects spread across the connected spheres of Earth, and those changes can impact people too. During hurricanes and heavy rains, wetlands absorb storm surges that might otherwise flood cities. They clean water that flows into communities, reducing the need for expensive treatment systems. They even support farms and fisheries by recycling nutrients that help plants grow and fish populations thrive. When wetlands disappear, these benefits are lost. Flooding becomes more common, water quality drops, and the balance of local ecosystems shifts. Understanding these systems helps scientists and communities make better choices about how to manage land and protect the environment. In the next video, we will begin exploring one real-world case, the wetlands at the mouth of the Mississippi River. You will explore data that shows how human activity and natural change affect this ecosystem, and how scientists are working to bring it back into balance. Get ready to think like an environmental planner as you use what you have learned to develop your own ideas for helping nature recover. See you next time. Hey, hey.